I'm not asking you to trust that which you can't trust. How could I? How could you? How could you trust that which you can't trust? How could you be perceiving things any way other than you are without having some other experience of them? I might make a move. I might say, hey, does it make a difference if you know that I, went through an experience like that myself and I can empathize with, the kinds of thing that you're talking about. It might make a difference if I say, okay, you know what? Let's just drop this and we can come back to it later. If the thing that you're not trusting is that we're going to, not get caught into a tangle forever, it might make a difference for you if I'm able to actually create that space in that moment. But it also might not. And I don't get to demand that any move that I make affects your trust in me any way differently than it in fact does. And it always will affect it in whatever way it in fact does. There's a kind of almost physics quality to trust building that I've been able to discern where um it's harder than looking at a plane and saying, oh, this can fly or this can't fly, because you don't necessarily know what's going on underneath. Like, I don't, when I'm engaging with somebody in a trust building process, I don't necessarily know what's going on in their head. That's part of the issue, or part of the thing that creates the challenge. I guess it's not per se an issue, but I have become increasingly able to see, oh, this process is not going to build non-naive trust. It might build some kind of naive trust. It might build some capacity to work together for now, but these people are setting themselves up for surprise, confusion, disappointment, betrayal, etc. And you can see that very directly when people are kind of asking each other to trust them when they can't actually. And people do this implicitly a lot. As I mentioned in the previous video, we do it kind of constantly. We sort of walk around trusting ourselves, and by default, that creates a frame in everything that we say that asks others to trust us in the same way, even if they can't. And some people are, even for whatever sort of manipulative reason that they are engaging with to try to create safety or power or whatever for themselves, are even quite actively trying to say, no, you must trust me, even though you can't. I find that's less common among my circles, but it still does happen. There's still a grasping towards that happens sometimes. But more often it's just implicit. And in either case, the thing to recognize is that all you can ever ask somebody to do is pretend, or to act as if. You can act as if you trust somebody when you don't. You can't trust them when you don't, but you can act as if. And there's a naivety to that, but it's not necessarily problematic. It's a kind of bet. And that bet may pay off and it may not. That bet may result in, if it pays off, it may result in a deepening of trust, but it also might not. You might be, well, this paid off, but I still don't really know if it was likely, if I could have comfortably assumed it would pay off. That depends on the situation and the kind of information that's revealed by how things actually play out. I'm just getting started with making videos on YouTube, so if you have thoughts, I will be totally hanging out in the comments and checking out anything you want to share, whether that's about experiences that you've had where trust building has worked or where trust has broken down, or questions you have about how to apply this to a particular situation. I would love to dive deep into some specifics in upcoming videos.